Hi, everybody. So I'm continuing my series on dark psychology and how it ties into abuse. If you have not yet watched the playlist on the neuroscience of abuse, by all means check it out. I think it's like maybe like down there or over there or on whatever device. It's in my playlist. You can find it. I think it's very important, and you're going to get the most out of this series if you watch that first and then you understand sort of the mechanisms in your brain that get hijacked in the abuse cycle. You can now see how these dark psychology tactics relate and how they cause these effects in your brain. So, as I've said in previous videos with dark psychology, it has to do with actual seduction science. What makes people attractive. Seduction is a pretty much exact science. There's a book by Robert Greene. He's a great author, wonderful author. He's written other books. One second. But dark psychology is sort of a bit of a perversion of it, and not only that, it questionably, ethics are questionable with it. These are things that they can be used for good. These are attraction builders that when you use it in a healthy, ethical manner, gives you a wonderful, fruitful relationship. When used in an unethical manner, it can keep an abuse victim crawling back for more. Like literally, they come crawling back, and you can abuse them even harder, and then they'll come crawling back, and they'll come crawling back, and even they don't understand it, and you don't really understand it, but you just know that this dumb bitch keeps coming back, and you can just smack her around harder, and she'll leave, and then she'll come back, and you just smack her around even harder. The really fucked up thing about that is it makes an abuser feel good. So, in any case, I want to talk about triangles and what they are. And there's a manipulation tactic called triangulation, which is a little different than what we're talking about here, but not completely unrelated. I'll get into that in a little bit. But a triangle is exactly that. It's whenever there's another person in the picture. And they're there for a number of reasons, usually jealousy, but it also, when done correctly, it's not a triangle as much as it is a bigger shape than a triangle. I don't want to say a rectangle or pentagon. Why, yes, it's pentagon. But it's just whenever you're with somebody who has what Richard Laurina would call the celebrity effect, you go out and a lot of people show up and are pretty much just interested in who you're with. They have an entourage. The flying monkeys. They have a crew. They have a posse. They've got the people that follow them everywhere. It makes them look like they're something to be desired, and they are desired by multiple people. And to be called their boyfriend or their girlfriend, you, the victim, get these feelings of validation. And I say you, the victim, because keep in mind, the whole purpose of this series is I'm taking these dark psychology tactics and applying it to an abuse situation. So, like I said before, just because you have an entourage doesn't make you an abuser. So just be clear on that, because I don't want to get a bunch of clapback on that. Right, by all the strangers on YouTube. In any case, when you're with somebody who is popular, they've got an entourage, they've got a whole group of people, then you feel validated because out of all these people, they chose you, right? You're their number one sidekick. Their number one, best flying monkey. You get a ribbon. Versus, there's also a good reason on the other end of the spectrum. There's the people who get ostracized and outcast that nobody wants to go near, and there's typically a good reason for that, and we tend to be very leery of people who are outcasts that don't have anybody, right? Because the opposite is true. there must be a reason why nobody's in their life. They're probably crazy or toxic or unhealthy, and so we just try to avoid them instead of reaching out. Um, so and I won't go into the current political climate other than to say that, you know, here recently there have been some mass shootings and the people were largely labeled as outsiders and outcasts, right? Because they had, you know, mental issues and were the kind of person that would potentially kill you, and so you want to stay away from them, right? Not the kind of person you want to hug. So, but all that being said, uh, by creating a triangle, you threaten. You can do several things with a triangle. You can make your victim, or in your case, you, when your abuser has a triangle, you can extract some validation from it. You feel like you're a good person, a better person for being their number one. It also keeps you on your toes because you feel like, this is somebody you could potentially lose. So we talked in previous videos about mixed signals, right? So they could always be like off and on with you or on the fence. Like, they can pit you against another one of the flying monkeys, make it seem like that they're having a tough time deciding between you or somebody else, and make you work harder because now that you feel validated, you feel special, you have this false sense of security with somebody. You don't want it taken away, and so you don't want to lose your shit, right? So you become more competitive against an imaginary combatant, right? You think you're having to compete with somebody when really you're not. You're just being led on and strung along, but you're willing to do more and accept more because you have what you consider to be a high value partner. And as I've talked about in previous videos, a turmoil-laden relationship is an addictive relationship, right? So that can be one of the ways of building the bond, building the attraction that keeps you in the abuse cycle. The bonding and the attraction is what perpetuates the cycle, because as long as you know how to keep attraction high, keep that oxytocin bonding response high, the dopamine response of do it again high, as long as you're able to do all of that, then the cycle repeats over and over and over again, where you leave somebody, you put distance between you, and that high level of attraction brings you right back. And your decision making and your subconscious get hijacked. So you make decisions that all lead back to your abuser. And that's how the cycle continues. So that's about all I got for it. My narcissist did exactly this with me. When I was married to her, there was this dude that she went to high school with. He was just hot to trot for her. The dude lived in like another state, but at first he seemed like a pretty innocent guy, really nice guy, big teddy bear kind of guy. Like everybody has that guy that they want to be friends with. The big 6'5" teddy bear that defends and protects his own, right? So there's one of those good guys, and he was all like, you got a good girl, man. Like, she's cool, you're lucky to have her, man. And I'm like, cool, thanks, man. My ex tried and failed to triangulate me to him because I actually thought he was a pretty cool guy, and I don't think she quite got what she wanted out of there. But yeah, no, I mean, in other cases, I guess she eventually succeeded because she had an affair, and that also didn't really boost my jealousy or boost my attraction to her. That got her divorced. So there's definitely a right and a wrong way to do the triangle thing. I don't think she was very good at it, but plenty of people are. And so just be aware of that, because there's the legitimate triangle, but then there's also the unethical way of doing it, which is faking like there's a triangle. creating a fake profile on your phone. This is something that I've seen done quite a bit. An abuser can have 2, 3, or 4 phones and just enters the other numbers and just change the contacts on it. So literally, you can just create a completely fictitious triangle with some completely fictitious accounts. You know what? Come to think of it, maybe that's what my ex-narc was doing. But in any case, when it's somebody impersonal, somebody you've never met in person, but they're on Facebook or they're texting and all that stuff, it may not actually even be a real person. It just could be your abuser creating a fake triangle to make you work harder. So think about that one for a second. You know, um, these people suck. So just be aware that the whole purpose of the triangle is several things. You're going to get that feeling of validity from it, and then they're going to use it to evoke jealousy and make you want to work harder for the abuse because they're hot shit, right? So, anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, or share. We'll see you on the next video.